Hello, my name is METİN Arıdaşır. This is 314th part of explanation of my theory. According to my theory and my formulas, Arıdaşır mean physics, basic concepts, terminology. 1. Meta-sensation perception matter, MSPM. The place where we define observable objects with their connections with each other is the vacuum. Width and length are innate, but to gain depth perception, this is the third dimension, we need to observe the objects in their motion. That becoming smaller or larger, shorter or longer, becoming shorter or longer of far or near sides of them, turning their rectangular faces into a trapezoidal shape in their motion. Yes. Therefore, we gain perspective, perception, and vacuum, space concept by observing the objects with their motions or with our motions unconsciously. Thus, we unconsciously and implicitly develop vacuum concept, space, nothingness concept that never exists as an object in our senses. Going further, without space, without nothingness concept, we cannot describe objects with their movements. And unconsciously we come to the conclusion that the movement of objects is not possible without nothingness. However, this unconsciously acquired judgment is nothing but an illusion. Objects do not come to our senses in three dimensions. Instantly and photographically, we see objects only in two dimensions. There is no space in this scene, in this stage. Space, vacuum, nothingness is not something that can be sensed. It cannot be sensed. The third dimension and with it the space, with it the nothingness are acquired spontaneously and unconsciously in the process of perceiving objects along with their movements. How could you make sense of the observable world without the nothingness, without the space and the third dimension, which can never be sensed or observed? Therefore, as a result, you make sense of the observable world and objects only in conjunction with the unobservable and unsensible. Thus, you are not even doing metaphysics. You are trying to explain physics together with non-physics, non-physicals. not finished. Black color that draws the boundaries of objects. Yes, not finished. Black color that draws the boundaries of objects and shades them is nothing but not sensing. No sensing. Now, let's delete, erase all the lines and shadows that we don't sense on this object that we drew and distinguished with this black color pencil as an object. Okay. All that remains is one thing from which nothing is distinguished. This is meta-sensation perception matter. MSPM. There is no vacuum and atoms, no field and ether in it. There is no friction force in it, and it does not condense and dilute. Yet, there are movements in it. It also contains movements that form the order in our universes and are never random. They are intrinsic, immanent, cyclical, repetitive, spherical, ring-shaped motion forms of this invisible, indivisible meta-sensation perception matter. These are electron motion forms, but not objects. Motion forms, intrinsic motion forms. Black is not a color. Black is not sensing, no sensing. Okay, this is black. This is black. Shadows. We don't sense this. When we delete non-sensing, we acquire full sense, single matter. Yes. 2. Two realities and light, matter and life, meta-sensation, perception, matter reality and subjective reality. What these two share exactly is volume. It is sharing that ensures the certainty of our answer to these questions. Do the objects we see really exist in our external world? Do the objects we see exist objectively outside of us, or is everything in our inner world? Is there an objective reality independent of our sensation and perception? Yes, there is an objective reality independent of our sensation and perception, and electron motion forms of meta-sensation perception matter write the laws of objective and subjective universes. objective and subjective realities. Yes, there are facts, not phenomena. Phenomena, concept, valid for observable universe, but fact is valid for invisible, indivisible meta-sensation, perception, matter, reality that we cannot see directly. Yes, there are facts that exactly represent the objects we see in our inner world, in our outer world. By the way, let's not forget, our bodies are also in our inner world, and there are facts that exactly represent our bodies we see in our inner world, in objective matter reality. 3. Objective reality. Meta-sensation, perception, matter reality is the objective reality. Objective reality of meta-sensation, perception, matter is the source of our objective knowledge. Subjective reality of our living experiences is the source of our subjective knowledge. There is a relationship between these two realities, and when this relationship is established, universal reality is reached. Light is the bridge between two realities. For instance, in the subjective reality, there is the sum of velocities rule between objects, but in the objective reality, in meta-sensation, perception, matter, the exact opposite of this rule applies to light velocity and its sources. 4. Subjective reality, subjective reality. Our subjective reality and observable universe that we share with all living things, perhaps with all objects, are the results of encountering of intrinsic motion forms of meta-sensation, perception, matter. Our senses are the results of interaction of these intrinsic motion forms of meta-sensation, perception, matter themselves. Our subjective reality and observable universe come from our life and our living experiences. Eventually, subjective reality is the observable universe that is the result of our sensings and not sensings, no sense. Our sensing and not sensing are the results of interacted or not interacted intrinsic motion forms of meta-sensation, perception, matter. 5. Free electron motion form. Intrinsic, immanent, cyclical spherical ring-shaped motion form of meta-sensation, perception, matter. It is eternal. An electron motion form doesn't need to move or to accelerate for producing and propagating light waves. If an electron motion form is free, it produces and propagates consecutive, successive, cyclical spherical ring-shaped, intertwined, interconnected, inter-interacted waves through the eternity spontaneously. 6. Consecutive light waves or successive light waves. Only free electron motion forms can produce and propagate intertwined, inter-interacted, interconnected, cyclical spherical ring-shaped waves repetitively. This type of light is the source of all continuous spectrum. Not characteristic light. Continuous spectrum. Yes. Spectrums. One of their functions is to influence and play the atom electrons like a piano. They cause expansion of a proton-bound electron motion form at the rate of their squared number, and when they vanish, proton-bound electron shrinks again. While shrinking, it produces and pours out a single wave pulse. I will go on to explain main concepts of my theory. Have a good evening. See you later.